There comes a time in life when silence becomes our greatest ally, not because we are weak, but because we understand the power of preservation. A truly wise person, someone who has studied the shadows of human nature, the ebb and flow of fortune, and the fragility of emotions, knows that not all company serves the soul. Some individuals, by their words or actions, act as leeches on our spirit, drawing away our calm, our clarity, our fortitude. And so, the wise do not argue. They do not confront with fury. They quietly remove themselves, like a river redirecting its course to avoid rocks that would only slow it down. Point 1. The power of silence over words. In a world drowning in noise, the wise understand that words are not always a measure of strength. In fact, they are often a mask for weakness. Epictetus once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." The truly intelligent, the truly high-value individual recognizes the weight of this teaching. Words can build empires, but they can just as easily crumble them. More importantly, words can reveal our vulnerabilities to those who are not prepared to honor them. We live in a society that glorifies expression, that applauds the constant sharing of thoughts, emotions, and opinions. Social media has amplified this tendency, creating a world where overexposure is celebrated and restraint is mistaken for secrecy. But the wise know that restraint is not weakness, it is sovereignty over oneself. It is a declaration that your inner life, your intentions, and your strategies are sacred. They are not to be displayed for the fleeting admiration or judgment of others. Silence in this sense is armor. It is the quiet assertion of control over one's emotions, one's reactions, and one's energy. When someone provokes, belittles, or challenges us, the instinct of the untrained mind is to respond, often impulsively, often with anger or defensiveness. A Stoic, however, understands that no external force can harm the mind without consent. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." By choosing silence over reaction, we reclaim power that society teaches us to surrender. Moreover, silence is a mirror of self-worth. Those who are secure in themselves do not need to advertise their victories or explain their failures. They allow their actions, their presence, and their consistency to speak for them. Words can be cheap, actions are tangible. To speak excessively is to invite scrutiny, to expose oneself to judgment, and to grant others the opportunity to manipulate or misinterpret. The wise recognize that not every battle needs to be fought vocally. Sometimes the act of withholding comment, the refusal to validate trivial conflicts, becomes the loudest statement of all. But silence is not passive, it is strategic. It allows the mind to observe without interference, to analyze without distraction, and to act without rashness. Epictetus emphasizes the importance of distinguishing between what is within our control and what is not. Words often are not within our control. Their reception, their interpretation, and their consequences belong to others. The act of restraint, therefore, places power squarely in our hands. By speaking less, we conserve energy, sharpen focus, and cultivate the ability to respond with precision when it matters most. Ultimately, the power of silence is the foundation of self-mastery. It is a practice of restraint that cultivates inner calm, fortitude, and clarity. It protects the mind from unnecessary conflict and preserves the dignity of the soul. Those who have embraced this habit move through the world with an unshakable presence, commanding respect not by noise, but by the quiet strength that emanates from knowing one's worth and one's limits. In choosing silence over impulsive speech, we are not merely withholding words, we are affirming our sovereignty. We are asserting that our time, energy, and inner peace are not commodities to be traded for the fleeting validation of the unwise. The wise do not need to explain themselves, justify their choices, or prove their value. Their quiet is louder than the clamor of 1,000 voices. And in that silence lies the invisible power of a mind tempered by Stoic wisdom, unshaken by folly, and untouchable by triviality. Point 2. Guarding your circle, the invisible boundary. In life, as in warfare, the greatest victories are often won before a battle is fought. We cannot control the intentions of others, nor the chaos of the world around us, but we can control the company we keep. Seneca once observed, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you. Welcome those who will influence you to virtue." The truly wise understand that not everyone who enters our orbit deserves a place within it. The people we allow close to our mind, our heart, and our energy define the quality of our thoughts, our actions, and ultimately, our lives. There are those who drain, deceive, or diminish. They arrive with smiles but carry hidden motives. They seek attention, validation, or advantage at the expense of your peace. The unwise endure them, hoping that patience or explanation will change their character. The Stoic, however, recognizes that some battles are not ours to fight. Some people are not meant to be persuaded, and some energies are not meant to be absorbed. The mark of true wisdom lies in discerning which relationships are nourishment and which are poison. We live in a society that teaches obligation over choice. Family, friends, co-workers. Society pressures us to maintain connections even when they corrode our stability. Yet the Stoic path is clear. It is not cruelty to protect your mind. It is survival. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been." By extending this principle to relationships, we understand that detachment is not rejection, it is self-preservation. Some voices are not worthy of our attention. Some hearts are not worthy of our trust. To silently cut off those who endanger our inner calm is a declaration of autonomy. It is a recognition that your energy is sacred and your time finite. It is a refusal to invest in chaos masquerading as companionship. The wise do not parade their decisions, nor explain their boundaries to those incapable of understanding. They act quietly, decisively, and with clarity of purpose. The severing of toxic ties is not drama, it is strategy. But this discipline extends beyond the obvious manipulator or deceiver. It also applies to those who bring negativity, dependence, or weakness into your orbit. Even subtle energies can erode resilience. The words of Epictetus resonate here. Keep yourself free from the passions of others. Let no one be able to disturb you. By curating our circle, we shield ourselves from emotional contagion, maintain clarity in thought, and create an environment where virtue, strength, and focus can flourish. This is the paradox of power. True influence is invisible. We do not command by force or intimidation, but by example, presence, and the quiet decision of who is permitted into our lives. Every person who is allowed close must earn it through virtue, integrity, and respect. Those who fail the test are removed, not publicly, not aggressively, but silently, as one would close a door against a storm. Guarding your circle is therefore an exercise in sovereignty. It is the cultivation of a life where energy is preserved, judgment is sharpened, and the mind is left unburdened by the trivial or malicious. It is an inner fortress, built not from walls, but from discernment, patience, and the courage to act without applause. The wise do not need crowds, nor do they need to explain their boundaries. Their influence grows in proportion to their restraint, their clarity, and their commitment to preserving the sanctity of their mind and soul. To silently cut off those unworthy of your presence is not loss, it is liberation. It is a step closer to the serene strength that Stoicism promises, a life undisturbed by folly, fortified against manipulation, and illuminated by inner mastery. Point 3. Mastery of silence, the power of not revealing everything. In a world that celebrates confession, oversharing, and constant exposure, the truly wise remain quietly vigilant. They understand, as Seneca observed, Silence is a lesson learned through life's harshest moments. Words carry power, and not all power should be given away. Every thought spoken, every feeling displayed is a thread pulled from the fabric of one's strength. To reveal too much is to surrender leverage, to allow others to manipulate, judge, or exploit what is most intimate within us. We live surrounded by observers, some curious, some envious, some malicious. They track our triumphs, our failures, and our insecurities. Their attention is a double-edged sword. The Stoic recognizes that the safest and most potent weapon is not confrontation, but discretion. By keeping certain truths private, we create a space where our mind is free, our plans unthreatened, our spirit untouchable. Marcus Aurelius advises, "Let no one else's opinion distract you from your path. Guard what is yours." The art of silence is not mere avoidance, it is deliberate mastery. It allows us to act without performance, to think without interference, and to cultivate wisdom away from the distractions of admiration or criticism. The world will often reward noise, applause, and exposure, but the Stoic knows that transient recognition is not the measure of true power. Those who speak least often influence most, because their actions, unclouded by excessive explanation, carry undeniable weight. Consider the subtle ways revealing too much can erode respect. A private struggle shared publicly invites unsolicited advice, judgment, and pity. Ambitions disclosed before fruition become targets of sabotage. Vulnerabilities displayed carelessly become instruments for manipulation. Epictetus warned, "Do not seek for everything to happen as you wish it would, but rather wish that everything happens as it actually will. Then your life will flow well." By extension, guarding our personal truths ensures that our life flows free from the interference of others' designs. Silence also cultivates observation, the quiet ability to read intentions, to anticipate motives, and to understand human nature without the distortion of self-exposure. When we speak less, we observe more. We learn the patterns, desires, and weaknesses of those around us. This insight is not arrogance, it is strategy. A mind refined by discretion sees far beyond the obvious and acts with precision when the moment demands. Yet, mastery of silence is not withdrawal. It is presence without indulgence, attention without excess. It is the subtle signaling that one's life is not for public consumption, that personal power is sovereign and untouchable. The Stoic does not need validation from the many, for their strength is internal, cultivated in solitude, and revealed through action rather than proclamation. By keeping our most valuable thoughts, struggles, and plans concealed, we gain freedom. Freedom from manipulation, distraction, and emotional drain. We become unassailable, our energies concentrated, our minds clear. Respect is earned not through revelation, but through restraint, presence, and the quiet weight of our decisions. The power of not revealing everything is a declaration. Our life is ours to govern, our mind a sanctuary, our actions deliberate and unexposed. To speak less is not weakness, it is wisdom, a silent mastery over the chaos, envy, and folly of the world. In this silence, we find strength, clarity, and the enduring presence of one who walks unshaken, unclaimed, and unstoppable. Point 4. The discipline of detachment, rising above the opinions of others. In a world obsessed with approval, applause, and acknowledgement, the wise understand the invisible chains forged by dependence on others' opinions. Our society convinces us that validation is essential, that our worth is reflected in praise, likes, or recognition. Yet, as Epictetus taught, it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. The Stoic sees clearly that allowing the judgments of others to shape our emotions, choices, or self-perception is surrendering control over what is most sacred, our inner life. Detachment is not coldness. It is not apathy or avoidance. It is the deliberate cultivation of a mind that is self-governing, unshaken, and precise. It is understanding that the world will always speak, judge, and attempt to define us, and choosing instead to measure our value by internal virtue, strength, and reason. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been." By extension, we choose not to be diminished by external opinion, and in doing so, we remain sovereign over our mental state. This detachment manifests in subtle ways. We do not flaunt achievements for admiration, nor do we shrink in the shadow of criticism. We act because it aligns with our principles, not because it will earn praise or avoid scorn. We accept the world as it is, unpredictable, unfair, often indifferent, without surrendering our inner calm. Every insult, slight, or misunderstanding becomes an opportunity to exercise control, to refine patience, and to strengthen resilience. The mind trained in detachment observes without becoming entangled. People speak, act, and judge as they must, but their opinions do not penetrate the fortress of reason. Seneca cautioned, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Often, the fear of judgment, of being seen as weak, foolish, or unworthy, causes more torment than any actual criticism. By practicing detachment, we eliminate these imaginary chains and reclaim the power that lies in self-governance. Detachment also protects energy and focus. When we invest our emotional life in the fluctuating perceptions of others, we dilute our power, scatter our attention, and invite chaos into our mind. The Stoic, however, understands that control is earned by turning inward, by nurturing clarity and strength untouched by fleeting approval. Every moment spent worrying about judgment is a moment stolen from growth, reflection, and purposeful action. Yet detachment is not isolation. It does not mean cutting off human connection or abandoning empathy. It means participating fully, observing keenly, and engaging wisely, without giving away the core of our inner life for validation. It is the quiet mastery of presence. We are seen and heard, but never defined by the fickle whims of the world. Through this discipline, we cultivate serenity. The world may attempt to provoke, belittle, or manipulate, but the detached mind is unassailable. Our emotions are deliberate, our actions deliberate, and our value self-determined. We move through life like a silent shadow, unaffected by the clamor of judgment, untouchable in our focus, and unwavering in our pursuit of virtue. Detachment is the ultimate liberation. It frees us from the tyranny of opinion, from the insecurity born of comparison, and from the endless chase for external validation. In this freedom, we discover the profound strength of living on our own terms, guided by reason, grounded in virtue, and untouched by the trivialities of what others think. To detach is not to retreat, it is to ascend, to rise above, and to claim the quiet dominion of the mind that refuses to be shaken.
Point 5. The power of silent action. Let results speak for you. In a world obsessed with noise, appearances, and declarations, the truly powerful move quietly. The Stoic knows that words are cheap, attention is fleeting, and approval is unreliable. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." The wise understand that action, not proclamation, is the ultimate measure of virtue and strength. Silent action is the unspoken language of mastery, where deeds carry weight that words never could. To act silently requires a mind tempered by self-control. It is easy to announce intentions, to demand recognition, to seek praise, or to justify oneself. The harder, yet infinitely more rewarding path is to work diligently, consistently, and with precision, without the need for validation or observation. Epictetus wrote, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." In this paradox lies the secret of silent action. Greatness grows unseen until it cannot be ignored. Those who act silently understand timing. They do not rush to impress. They do not feel compelled to dominate the conversation or the stage. Instead, they cultivate patience, precision, and persistence. Like a shadow moving through the darkness,
Their influence is subtle but inevitable. The world may doubt, scoff, or overlook them, yet the results of their focused effort emerge with undeniable clarity. Others may speak loudly, but their noise often masks emptiness. We, through silent action, let reality, the tangible proof of our discipline, speak. Silent action is also a defense against the corrosive effects of ego. When we rely on praise or recognition, we tether our self-worth to external forces. By acting quietly, we remove this dependency. Our satisfaction derives not from applause, but from the knowledge that we have acted in accordance with reason and virtue. Seneca reminds us, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." By detaching from the desire for acknowledgement, we preserve our inner wealth, our peace, and our focus. This principle extends beyond personal development. It governs relationships, leadership, and influence. The Stoic leader does not boast. The Stoic friend does not manipulate. The Stoic individual does not seek to dominate with words. They act, observe, and let the impact of their decisions ripple outward. The quiet mind, disciplined and deliberate, radiates strength far more profoundly than any spectacle of pride or argument. Silent action also sharpens resilience. Life will always attempt to provoke, distract, and diminish. By focusing on what we can control, our effort, our response, our choices, we build a fortress of competence and virtue. The world may remain indifferent, but the Stoic is undisturbed. Results, when they inevitably manifest, confirm the power of disciplined action over impulsive declaration. Ultimately, the power of silent action is the mastery of presence. It allows us to move through the chaos of the world unshaken, to cultivate influence without dependency on the opinions of others, and to embody the quiet dominance of virtue. In a society addicted to performance and pretense, those who act silently emerge not only unbroken, but unmistakably strong. To act silently is to embrace the Stoic paradox. True power requires restraint, and the loudest triumphs are often those never announced. We do not need permission to be great. We do not need applause to measure our worth. We act, we endure, and we let the tangible proof of our discipline, persistence, and virtue speak louder than any words ever could. Point 6. The discipline of choosing silence over reaction. In the theater of human life, emotions are the ever-present players, often demanding attention, often provoking action before reason has a voice. Anger, frustration, and resentment arrive uninvited, whispering lies that the world must bend to our will. Yet the Stoic understands. The true measure of strength is not in our ability to react, but in our mastery over the impulse to react. As Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Choosing silence over reaction is a practice of profound discipline. It requires that we observe before we respond, that we weigh consequence before action, that we distinguish between what is within our control and what is not. The world will always insult, provoke, or undermine, yet we retain the one realm truly ours, our response. To yield to every emotional prompt is to surrender sovereignty. To act with deliberate calm is to command it. Consider the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, who wrote, "When you are offended at any man's fault, turn to yourself and study your own failings. Then you will forget your anger." In choosing silence, we redirect our energy inward, examining our own judgments, our own expectations, and our own misconceptions. We discover that often what seems to demand outrage is merely a reflection of our own attachment, our own desire for things to be other than they are. The disciplined silence is not weakness. It is an unseen strength, like a dormant volcano, capable of tremendous impact when the time is right. By withholding immediate judgment, by restraining impulsive speech, we create space for reason, for insight, and for strategy. This is the paradox. Those who speak first often reveal their weakness. Those who remain silent retain control. Seneca's wisdom echoes here. He who is brave is free. Freedom lies not in force, but in the refusal to be enslaved by emotion. Silence over reaction is also the crucible of self-respect. When we act impulsively, we feed the ego, trading dignity for temporary satisfaction. When we choose silence, we demonstrate to ourselves and to the world that our inner life is not subject to the whims of circumstance. We do not allow chaos, insult, or manipulation to dictate our behavior. This form of Stoic restraint cultivates respect without words, influence without aggression, and power without display. Moreover, in a society addicted to immediacy, tweets, comments, arguments, and debates, silence becomes an act of rebellion. It is a refusal to participate in the noise, a refusal to validate petty provocations. By embracing this quiet discipline, we conserve our energy for battles that matter, for actions that are deliberate, for words that carry meaning. The world is loud, the wise are quiet. Finally, choosing silence over reaction fortifies resilience. Life will always test our patience, challenge our assumptions, and threaten our equanimity. By practicing restraint, we train our minds to endure, our spirits to remain unshaken, and our judgment to remain clear. We discover that the true battlefield is not outside, but within. Mastery of self is the only victory that cannot be taken from us. In the end, the disciplined choice of silence over reaction is the ultimate Stoic strategy. It is a refusal to be led by impulse, a cultivation of inner sovereignty, and a quiet declaration that we will not be consumed by the world's chaos. Those who speak before they think may gain temporary victories, but those who speak or act with purpose wield a power far greater than the ephemeral applause of the crowd. Silence is strength. Silence is freedom. Silence is mastery. And in that quiet dominion over ourselves, we find the unshakable foundation upon which a life of wisdom, resilience, and inner power is built.
Point 7. The power of embracing discomfort. The world we inhabit is constructed to avoid pain, to seek comfort, and to chase fleeting pleasures. Yet the Stoic sees reality through a different lens. Discomfort is not the enemy, but the crucible through which strength is forged. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Every challenge, every hardship, every trial is an opportunity if we have the courage to embrace it rather than flee. To embrace discomfort is to confront life with open eyes and unflinching resolve. It is to acknowledge that pain, rejection, failure, and struggle are inevitable. They are part of the natural order, part of the unfolding universe over which we have limited control. Yet within this acknowledgement lies liberation. By accepting the inevitable, we strip it of its power to dominate our minds. We learn that fear, suffering, and adversity are not punishers, but teachers, silent, relentless guides to resilience. Consider the practices of the Stoics themselves. Seneca endured exile and loss, yet his writings reveal a man who found purpose even in suffering. Epictetus, born into slavery, discovered freedom within his own mind. They teach us that discomfort is never permanent, it is merely a threshold. Those who flee it remain weak, their souls tethered to the opinions, comforts, and illusions of the world. Those who embrace it discover power that cannot be taken, a strength that is forged internally and revealed externally through calm, decisive action. Embracing discomfort is not masochism, it is strategy. It is to intentionally place oneself in situations that demand resilience, to speak truth when lies are easier, to act with integrity when deception tempts, to endure rejection when approval beckons. In these moments, the world tests our fortitude, and we either succumb or rise. Each trial strengthens the mind, refines judgment,
and tempers the spirit. This is the Stoic paradox. By seeking discomfort in measured ways, we become impervious to the chaos the world inevitably throws our way. Moreover, discomfort cultivates self-mastery. Pleasure enslaves. It conditions the mind to depend on external validation. Discomfort, by contrast, teaches us to rely on ourselves. A man who can endure hunger, cold, criticism, or solitude without despair is a man unbound. He becomes like a fortress, impervious, calm, and self-contained. His emotions no longer dictate his actions. His desires no longer enslave his reason. In embracing discomfort, we reclaim the sovereignty of our inner life. The modern world, in its obsession with ease, wealth, and avoidance of pain, breeds fragility. The Stoic refuses this. He walks deliberately into the challenges others evade. He faces conflict, hardship, and discomfort not with resentment, but with acceptance and curiosity. Each moment of resistance, each episode of struggle becomes a training ground for his mind and spirit. In this way, adversity transforms from a threat into an instrument of growth. Finally, embracing discomfort cultivates clarity. When the mind is unclouded by the endless pursuit of comfort, it sees the world as it is, impermanent, chaotic, and indifferent. This clarity allows for action rooted in reason rather than emotion, for decisions that reflect virtue rather than impulse. It grants the Stoic a perspective the comfort-addicted cannot comprehend, that suffering is temporary, that life's value is measured not in ease, but in the strength, wisdom, and resilience cultivated through enduring it. In truth, the world will always seek to shield us from discomfort, to lull us into complacency, to distract us with illusions of ease. But the Stoic chooses the path of deliberate challenge. He embraces discomfort, not for pain itself, but for mastery over self. Through it, he gains power that cannot be stolen, freedom that cannot be revoked, and wisdom that cannot be diminished. Discomfort is the forge, the Stoic is the sword tempered within it. And when the world tests him, he does not bend. He stands, unshaken, resolute, and invincible.